the captive's hope. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before the viewport, a tapestry of stars and distant nebulae that Zara could only dream of exploring. Instead, she found herself trapped aboard the Kryvax warship, her slender form hunched over a control panel as she monitored the ship's life support systems. The irony wasn't lost on her, ensuring the comfort of her captors while her own people suffered. Zara's antenna twitched nervously as she heard the heavy footfalls of approaching Kryvax guards. Her violet skin prickled with fear, a stark reminder of her precarious position as a personal slave to Commander Vex, the ruthless leader of this particular battlecruiser. "You there, slave," barked one of the guards, his voice gravelly and harsh. "The commander wants to see you, now." Zara's heart raced as she followed the guards through the winding corridors of the ship. The Kryvax were a warrior race, built like living tanks with thick, armored hides and multiple limbs capable of wielding an array of weapons. Next to them, Zara's slight frame and delicate features made her appear fragile, almost ethereal. As they entered Commander Vex's quarters, Zara steeled herself for whatever cruel whim had prompted this summons. The commander's crimson eyes fixed upon her, a predatory gleam evident in their depths. "Ah, my little Centaurian," Vex rumbled, his massive form looming over her. "I have a task for you. We've detected an anomaly in a nearby sector. You will accompany the scouting party and use your unique abilities to investigate." Zara's antenna drooped slightly. Her empathic abilities were both a blessing and a curse. They allowed her to sense the emotions and intentions of others, but they also made her a valuable tool for the Kryvax in their conquest of the galaxy. "Yes, Commander," she replied softly, keeping her eyes downcast. As Zara was escorted to the hangar bay, her mind raced with possibilities. Perhaps this mission would provide an opportunity for escape. But no, the thought was quickly quashed. The Kryvax had conquered her homeworld of Centauri Prime years ago. There was nowhere left to run. The scouting ship was small and cramped, filled with the acrid scent of Kryvax pheromones. As they approached the anomaly, Zara's empathic senses began to tingle. There was something different about this energy signature. It felt alive, pulsing with an unfamiliar rhythm. Suddenly, a brilliant flash of light engulfed their vessel. Zara felt a moment of weightlessness, then darkness claimed her. When she awoke, Zara found herself lying on cool grass, the scent of earth and vegetation filling her nostrils. She sat up, disoriented, and gasped at the sight before her. A lush green landscape stretched as far as the eye could see, dotted with unfamiliar structures and beings that walked on two legs. One of these beings approached her cautiously. It was tall, with pinkish skin and a tuft of dark fur atop its head. Zara's empathic senses reached out instinctively, and she was struck by the complexity of emotions emanating from this creature: curiosity, concern, and a hint of fear. "Are you all right?" the being asked, its voice surprisingly gentle. "I'm Dr. Alex Chen. You sort of appeared out of nowhere." Zara struggled to find her voice, her translator implant working overtime to process this new language. I'm Zara. Where am I? What happened to the Kryvax?" Dr. Chen's brow furrowed in confusion. "Kryvax? I'm afraid I don't know what that is. You're on Earth, in the North American Union. It's the year 2157 by our calendar." Earth. The word sparked a faint memory in Zara's mind. A planet on the fringes of known space, home to a species that had only recently achieved interstellar travel. The Kryvax had dismissed them as primitives, unworthy of conquest. How wrong they had been. As Dr. Chen helped Zara to her feet, she noticed other humans gathering nearby, their faces a mix of awe and apprehension. She could sense their fear, but also their innate curiosity, a trait that seemed to define this species. "Please," Zara said, her voice quavering. "I need your help. My people. The entire galaxy is in danger." The Kryvax. Her words were cut short as a familiar, bone-chilling roar filled the air. Zara's antenna went rigid with terror as she saw a Kryvax battle cruiser descending from the sky, its weapons primed and ready to unleash destruction upon this unsuspecting world. Dr. Chen's hand tightened on Zara's arm, his voice steady despite the fear she could sense radiating from him. "Come on, we need to get you somewhere safe." As they ran towards a nearby building, Zara's mind reeled. How had the Kryvax followed her here? And more importantly, how could she protect these humans from the wrath of her former captors? Little did she know, this was just the beginning of an adventure that would change the fate of two worlds and challenge everything she thought she knew about the balance of power in the galaxy. Inside the building, which Dr. Chen referred to as a research facility, chaos erupted. Alarms blared, and humans rushed about in a panic, their fear palpable to Zara's empathic senses. "Alex," a voice called out. A woman with auburn hair and fierce green eyes approached them. "What the hell is going on?" The defense grid just lit up like a Christmas tree. Dr. Chen gestured to Zara. "Sarah, this is Zara. She's not from around here. And I think those ships up there are looking for her." Sarah's eyes widened as she took in Zara's alien appearance. To her credit, she recovered quickly. "Right. Alien invasion. Just another Tuesday at quantum dynamics, I suppose. What's the plan?" Before Dr. Chen could respond, the building shook violently. The Kryvax were beginning their assault. Zara's antenna drooped in despair. "I'm so sorry. I never meant to bring this destruction to your world. The Kryvax, they're conquerors. They won't stop until they've subjugated or destroyed every other species in the galaxy." Dr. Chen's expression hardened. "Not if we have anything to say about it. Sarah, get Zara to the quantum core. If we can't fight them head-on, maybe we can outsmart them." As they raced through the facility, Zara marveled at the technology around her. It was different from anything she had seen before, not as advanced as Kryvax tech in some ways, but innovative and unique in others. They entered a vast chamber dominated by a pulsing, spherical device. Energy crackled around it, reminding Zara of the anomaly that had brought her to Earth. "This is the quantum core," Dr. Chen explained hurriedly. "It's an experimental device capable of manipulating the fabric of space-time itself. We've been developing it as a potential FTL drive, but maybe..." His words trailed off as another explosion rocked the building. Sarah's fingers flew over a nearby console. "Whatever you're planning, Alex, do it fast. Our defenses won't hold much longer." Zara closed her eyes, reaching out with her empathic senses. She could feel the Kryvax getting closer, their minds a roiling mass of aggression and bloodlust. But beneath that, she sensed something else, a faint undercurrent of fear. Her eyes snapped open. "They're afraid," she whispered. Dr. Chen looked at her quizzically. "The Kryvax. Afraid of what?" "Of you. Of humans." Zara's mind raced as the pieces fell into place. "They've conquered so many worlds, but you're different. Unpredictable. They can't anticipate your actions, and it terrifies them." A slow smile spread across Dr. Chen's face. "Then let's give them something really unpredictable. Sarah, power up the core. We're going to show these Kryvax why they should be afraid of humanity." As Sarah worked feverishly at the controls, Dr. Chen turned to Zara. "I need you to focus on the Kryvax. Use your empathic abilities to connect with the core. If we can amplify your powers, maybe we can turn their fear against them." Zara hesitated. Her abilities had always been used as a weapon by the Kryvax. Could she really use them to fight back? Another explosion, closer this time. The choice was made for her. Zara placed her hands on the quantum core, feeling its energy course through her. She reached out with her mind, seeking the Kryvax consciousness. Their fear became a tangible thing, a weakness she could exploit. Dr. Chen's voice seemed to come from far away. "Now, Sarah." The quantum core pulsed, and Zara felt her consciousness expand. Suddenly, she wasn't just sensing the Kryvax emotions, she was projecting them, amplifying their fear until it became overwhelming. Outside, the Kryvax assault faltered. Their precise, coordinated attack dissolved into chaos as each warrior was consumed by an inexplicable terror. Zara pushed harder, driven by years of pent-up anger and the desperate desire to protect this world that had shown her kindness. She could feel the strain on her body, but she didn't stop. With a final, monumental effort, she sent a pulse of pure, unadulterated fear through the Kryvax fleet. Ship after ship began to retreat, their crews too terrified to continue the attack. As the last Kryvax vessel disappeared into the upper atmosphere, Zara collapsed, exhausted but triumphant. Dr. Chen caught her before she hit the ground. "You did it," he said, his voice filled with awe. "You saved us all." Zara managed a weak smile. "No," she whispered. "We did it. Together." As the humans around her celebrated their unexpected victory, Zara realized that her journey was far from over. She had found allies in humanity, a species with the potential to change the balance of power in the galaxy. For the first time in years, Zara felt something she had almost forgotten: hope. Hope for her people, hope for the future, and hope that with humanity's help, they could bring an end to the Kryvax's reign of terror once and for all. As the sun began to set on this momentous day, Zara knew that this was just the beginning of a much larger adventure. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity was a force to be reckoned with, and she was proud to stand alongside them in the battles to come. An unlikely alliance. The dawn broke over a changed Earth. News of the alien encounter and humanity's improbable victory spread like wildfire across the globe. Dr. Alex Chen found himself thrust into the spotlight, struggling to explain the events that had transpired at quantum dynamics without causing widespread panic. Zara, still recuperating from the immense strain of interfacing with the quantum core, watched the chaos unfold from the safety of a secure facility. Her violet skin had taken on a pale, almost translucent quality, and her antennae drooped with exhaustion. Yet her eyes sparkled with a newfound determination. "Your people are resilient," she remarked to Dr. Chen as he entered her room, looking haggard after another round of debriefings. Alex chuckled warily. "That's one way to put it. I think stubbornly optimistic in the face of cosmic terror might be more accurate." Their banter was interrupted by the arrival of Sarah, her usual confidence tempered by the gravity of recent events. "We've got a situation," she announced, her voice tight. "The Galactic Council wants to make contact." Zara's antenna shot up in surprise. The Council. But they've been neutral in the Kryvax conflict for centuries. "Well," Alex said with a wry smile, "it seems our little light show got their attention. Question is, what do they want?" As it can answer, a holographic projection flickered to life in the center of the room. A being of pure energy, its form constantly shifting and flowing, regarded them with what seemed to be curiosity. "Greetings, humans of Earth," the being's voice resonated in their minds rather than their ears. "I am Zephyr, emissary of the Galactic Council. Your recent altercation with the Kryvax has not gone unnoticed." Alex stepped forward, his scientific curiosity momentarily overriding his caution. "We're honored by your contact, Zephyr. I'm Dr. Alex Chen, and this is Sarah Reeves and Zora of Centauri Prime." Zephyr's form rippled, a gesture that might have been acknowledgement. "Dr. Chen, your species has accomplished something unprecedented. You've demonstrated a unique ability to manipulate quantum energies on a scale we've never seen before. The Council believes this could be the key to finally ending the Kryvax threat." Zora's heart raced. Could it be possible? After all these years of subjugation and hopelessness, could humanity be the catalyst for change? Sarah, ever practical, cut to the chase. "That's all well and good, but what exactly are you proposing? Earth barely survived one Kryvax attack. We're in no position to take on their entire empire." Zephyr's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. "Not alone, no. But with the backing of the Galactic Council and the aid of other species who have suffered under Kryvax rule, you may stand a chance. We propose an alliance, one that would see Earth take its place on the galactic stage." The implications were staggering. Humanity, Barely out of its cosmic infancy, thrust into an intergalactic war, Alex's mind reeled at the possibilities and the dangers. "This isn't a decision we can make lightly," he said carefully. "We need to consult with our world's leaders, run simulations, test the limits of our technology." "Time is a luxury we do not have," Zephyr interrupted, its form flickering with urgency. "The Krivaks are regrouping as we speak. They will not underestimate Earth a second time." Zara, who had been silent until now, spoke up. "He's right. The Krivaks won't stop until they've either conquered or destroyed this world. You've shown them you're a threat, and that makes you a target." A tense silence fell over the room. The weight of the decision before them was palpable. It was Sarah who finally broke it, her voice filled with a mix of determination and disbelief. "Well, I guess we're going to war then. God help us all." The next few weeks passed in a blur of frenetic activity. Earth's governments, after much debate and no small amount of infighting, agreed to join the Galactic Alliance. The quantum dynamics facility became the epicenter of a global effort to prepare for the coming storm. Zara found herself working closely with Alex and Sarah, her knowledge of Krivak's technology and tactics proving invaluable. As they collaborated, she began to see firsthand the qualities that made humans so unique: their creativity, their ability to think outside conventional boundaries, and their indomitable spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. One evening, as they pored over schematics for a new type of quantum-powered defensive shield, Alex noticed Zara staring at him with an unreadable expression. "Credit for your thoughts?" he asked, using the human phrase he'd taught her. Zara's antenna twitched in amusement. "I was just thinking. My people have been fighting the Krivaks for generations. We've lost so much, given up hope so many times. But watching you humans, it's like you don't know how to quit." Alex smiled ruefully. "Oh, we know how. We just choose not to. It's kind of our thing." Their moment was interrupted by an urgent call from the command center. Sarah's face appeared on a nearby screen, her expression grim. "We've got incoming," she reported. "A Krivak's battle fleet just dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. This isn't a raid, it's a full-scale invasion force." Alex's jaw set in determination. "Then it's time to see if all our preparations have paid off. Zara, are you ready to show the Krivaks what happens when they mess with Earth?" Zara nodded, her earlier exhaustion replaced by a fierce resolve. "More than ready. Let's make them regret ever setting foot in this galaxy." As alarms blared throughout the facility, Alex, Zara, and Sarah rushed to the quantum core chamber. The massive device hummed with barely contained energy, ready to be unleashed. Zephyr's ethereal form materialized beside them. "The Council's fleet is en route, but they won't arrive in time to prevent the initial assault. Earth stands alone in this first battle." "Not alone," Zara said firmly, placing her hand on Alex's shoulder. "Together." As the first wave of Krivak's ships entered Earth's atmosphere, humanity prepared to make its stand. The fate of not just one world, but an entire galaxy hung in the balance. The quantum core pulsed with blinding energy as Alex, Sarah, and Zara worked in perfect synchronization. Zara's empathic abilities, amplified by the core's power, reached out to touch the minds of the Krivak's invaders. But this time, instead of just projecting fear, she did something unprecedented. She showed them hope. Images of worlds freed from tyranny, of species coexisting in harmony, of a galaxy at peace. These visions flooded the Krivak's consciousness. For beings raised on conquest and domination, the idea of a different way of life was more terrifying than any weapon. As the Krivak's fleet faltered, Earth's defenses sprang to life. Quantum-powered shields deflected energy blasts that would have leveled cities. Reverse-engineered Krivak's weapons, modified and improved by human ingenuity, struck back with devastating effect. The battle raged for hours, the sky above Earth lit by the flames of burning ships and the flash of energy weapons. But slowly, inexorably, the tide began to turn. Just as it seemed the human defenders might buckle under the relentless Kryvak's assault, a new light appeared in the sky. The Galactic Council's fleet had arrived, their advanced ships tearing through the Kryvak's rearguard. Caught between the hammer of Earth's defenses and the anvil of the Council fleet, the Kryvak's invasion force crumbled. Ship after ship fell from the sky or retreated in disarray. As the last Kryvak's vessel vanished into hyperspace, a cheer went up from every corner of the globe. Against all odds, humanity had held the line. In the aftermath of the battle, as the cleanup began and the true cost of the victory became clear, Alex found Zara standing alone, gazing up at the star-filled sky. "Credit for your thoughts?" he asked softly, coming to stand beside her. Zara's antenna quivered with emotion. "I was thinking about home," she said, "about all the worlds still under Kryvak's control. For the first time in my life, I believe they might actually have a chance at freedom." Alex nodded, understanding the weight of her words. "We've won a battle, but the war is far from over. The Kryvaks won't give up easily." "No," Zara agreed, "they won't. But neither will we." She turned to face him, her eyes shining with a mixture of gratitude and determination. "Thank you, Alex. You and your people have given the galaxy something it's been missing for far too long." "And what's that?" Alex asked, genuinely curious. Zara smiled, an expression that transformed her alien features into something truly beautiful. "A fighting chance." As they stood there, a human and an alien united by a common cause, the first light of dawn began to break over the horizon. It was a new day for Earth and for the galaxy at large. The Kryvaks had awakened a sleeping giant in humanity. Now, with the combined might of Earth's quantum technology, Zara's empathic abilities, and the resources of the Galactic Council, the stage was set for a conflict that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. The war for freedom had only just begun, but for the first time in centuries, hope burned brightly across the stars. And at the center of it all stood an unlikely alliance: a brilliant human scientist, a former alien slave, and a determination to prove that together they could achieve the impossible. As Earth prepared for the challenges ahead, one thing became clear: the galaxy would never be the same again, and humanity was ready to show the universe exactly what they were capable of. The Quantum Gambit. The holographic war room aboard the United Earth Defense Forces flagship, the UES Prometheus, buzzed with activity. Alien representatives from a dozen liberated worlds mingled with human military officers, their diverse forms a testament to the unprecedented alliance that had formed in the wake of Earth's victory. At the center of it all stood Dr. Alex Chen, his eyes dark-ringed from sleepless nights spent poring over quantum equations. Beside him, Zara's violet skin seemed to shimmer with an inner light, her empathic abilities heightened by the constant emotional turmoil surrounding them. "The Kryvaks have fallen back to their core systems," General Yuki Tanaka announced, her holographic form flickering slightly as she gestured to a 3D star map. "But our intel suggests they're planning something big, something that could turn the tide of the war." Zephyr, the energy being from the Galactic Council, pulsed with concern. "Our deep-cover operatives have intercepted fragments of a transmission. The Kryvaks speak of a void engine, a weapon capable of collapsing entire star systems into artificial black holes." A collective gasp rippled through the assembled allies. The implications were staggering. With such a weapon, the Kryvaks could simply erase their enemies from existence. Alex's mind raced, connecting dots that others might miss. "The quantum fluctuations we detected near the Cygnus X1 black hole, they weren't natural, were they?" Zephyr's form brightened in affirmation. "We believe that was a test of the Void Engine's capabilities. If the Kryvaks perfect this technology—" "They won't," Zara interrupted, her voice filled with a steely determination that surprised even her. "We've come too far to let them win now." Alex nodded, a plan already forming in his mind. "What if we could turn their own weapon against them? Use the quantum principles behind the Void Engine to create a sort of cosmic EMP?" The room fell silent as the implications sank in. It was Sarah, joining via hologram from Earth, who broke the tension. "You're talking about weaponizing the fabric of space-time itself. Alex, that's insane." He finished with a wry smile. "Probably, but it might be our only shot." General Tanaka's hologram flickered as she leaned forward. "What do you need to make this happen, Doctor?" Alex took a deep breath. "We'll need to get close to the Kryvax homeworld, closer than any of our ships have ever managed before, and we'll need to tap into the power of a supermassive black hole." The room erupted in a cacophony of voices, some supportive, others vehemently opposed to such a risky plan. But as the arguments raged, Zara found her gaze drawn to a quiet figure standing at the edge of the gathering. Commander Vex, her former Kryvax captor, now a reluctant ally thanks to Zara's empathic manipulation, watched the proceedings with an unreadable expression. Their eyes met, and Zara felt a chill run down her spine. There was something in Vex's gaze, a mixture of fear and anticipation. Before she could ponder it further, Alex's voice cut through the din. "I know it's dangerous. I know the odds are stacked against us. But look around this room. A year ago, none of us would have believed this alliance was possible. We've already achieved the impossible once. Who's to say we can't do it again?" His words seemed to ignite a spark in the assembled allies. One by one, they voiced their support for the plan. Even General Tanaka, known for her caution, gave a grudging nod of approval. "Very well, Dr. Chen," she said. "Operation Quantum Gambit is a go. May whatever gods are out there have mercy on us all." As the meeting dispersed, Zara pulled Alex aside. "There's something you should know," she whispered, her antenna twitching nervously. "I think Vex might be—" Her words were cut off by a deafening explosion that rocked the ship. Alarms blared as the lights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. "Attention all personnel," a computerized voice echoed through the corridors. "We are under attack. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill." Alex's eyes met Zara's in the emergency lighting, a mixture of determination and fear reflected in both their gazes. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. As they raced through the chaotic corridors of the Prometheus, dodging panicked crew members and sparking conduits, Alex's mind whirled with possibilities. How had the Kryvax found them? Their location was supposed to be top secret, known only to a select few. Realization hit him like a physical blow. "Vex," he growled, his usual calm demeanor cracking. He must have sent a signal to the Kryvax fleet. Zara's antenna drooped with guilt. "I should have seen it coming. I knew something was off about him, but I thought I had changed him." They skidded to a halt as they reached the ship's quantum core, a smaller version of the device that had saved Earth, installed on the Prometheus as both power source and potential weapon. The door was ajar, wisps of acrid smoke seeping through the opening. "Oh no," Alex breathed, pushing the door open fully to reveal the carnage within. The core was a sparking, twisted mess, its delicate components shattered beyond repair. And there, standing amidst the destruction with a savage grin, was Commander Vex. "Did you really think you could tame a Kryvax warrior?" Vex sneered, his massive form seeming to fill the room. "Your empathic tricks may have clouded my mind for a time, little Centaurian, but the call of conquest is in our blood. It cannot be denied." Zara stepped forward, her eyes blazing with a mixture of anger and determination. "It doesn't have to be this way, Vex. You've seen what we can accomplish together." "The Alliance is doomed," Vex interrupted with a dismissive wave of his armored hand. "The Void Engine will usher in a new era of Kryvax dominion, and there's nothing you can do to stop it." Alex's mind raced, cataloging the damage to the quantum core, calculating their odds of survival. They were grim at best. But then an idea struck him. A desperate, possibly suicidal idea, but one that just might work. "Zara," he whispered, never taking his eyes off Vex. "Remember that theory we discussed about quantum entanglement and empathic projection?" Zora's antenna twitched in surprise. Alex, that was purely theoretical. We never tested it. The strain could kill me. Do we have a choice? Before Zora could respond, Vex lunged forward with surprising speed for his bulk. Alex dove to the side, narrowly avoiding the Krivak's massive fists. He scrambled toward a fallen piece of equipment, desperately trying to buy time. Now, Zora, he shouted, ducking under another of Vex's swings. Zora closed her eyes, reaching out with her empathic abilities. But this time, instead of simply projecting emotions, she attempted something far more complex. She sought to entangle her consciousness with the quantum fabric of space itself, using the damaged core as a conduit. The effect was immediate and overwhelming. Zora's body arched in pain, violet energy crackling around her form. But through the agony, she pushed on, her mind expanding beyond the confines of the ship, beyond the battle raging in space around them. Vex froze mid-attack, his eyes widening in shock as he felt the first tendrils of Zora's enhanced empathic assault brush against his mind. What? What is this? He growled, struggling against the invisible force. Alex watched in awe as Zora's form began to glow, her feet lifting off the ground as the quantum energy surged around her. Her eyes, when they opened, were no longer their usual iridescent hue, but shone with the light of 1,000 stars. This, Zora's voice echoed with power, is the true potential of unity. With a gesture, she sent Vex flying across the room, his massive form crumpling against the far wall. But Zora didn't stop there. Her consciousness expanded further, touching the minds of every Kryvax warrior in the attacking fleet. Through her enhanced empathic link, Alex could feel echoes of what Zora was projecting. It wasn't just fear or confusion this time. It was understanding. In that moment, every Kryvax experienced the pain they had inflicted on others, the joy of freedom they had denied their victims, the potential for a universe united instead of conquered. The effect was catastrophic for the Kryvax fleet. Ships veered off course, weapons powered down, and in some cases, entire crews simply laid down their arms, overwhelmed by the empathic onslaught. But the strain on Zora was immense. Blood trickled from her nose, her form flickering like a faulty hologram as the quantum energies threatened to tear her apart. Zora, you have to stop. Alex cried out, reaching for her. You're killing yourself. With a monumental effort, Zora pulled back, collapsing into Alex's arms as the glow faded from her body. The ship shuddered around them as the battle outside came to an abrupt halt. Did it work? Zora whispered, her voice weak. Before Alex could answer, the ship's comms crackled to life. General Tanaka's voice, filled with disbelief and hope, echoed through the damaged room. Dr. Chen, Zora, I don't know what you did, but the Kryvax fleet is standing down. They're requesting to open diplomatic channels. It's over. We've won. Alex looked down at Zora, cradled in his arms, then at the unconscious form of Vex, and finally at the ruined quantum core that had made this miracle possible. A weary smile spread across his face. No, General, he said softly. It's not over. It's just the beginning. As the Prometheus limped back to Earth, carrying news of their impossible victory, Alex knew that the real work was only just starting. They had won the war, but now came the challenge of building a lasting peace, of helping the Kryvax find a new path, of healing the scars left by centuries of conflict. But as he gazed down at Zora, her violet skin pale, but her spirit unbroken, he felt a surge of hope. Together, they had rewritten the laws of physics and changed the course of galactic history. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he had faith that the unlikely alliance of humans, aliens, and the power of quantum science could overcome them. The stars seemed to shine a little brighter as the Prometheus made its way home, carrying with it the promise of a new dawn for the entire galaxy. Quantum harmonies. The grand assembly hall of the newly established Galactic Concordat hummed with an energy unlike anything the universe had ever seen. Representatives from 1,000 worlds, former enemies, and newfound allies alike, gathered to witness a moment that would reshape the cosmos. At the center of it all stood Dr. Alex Chen and Zara, their forms projected as towering holograms for all to see. The human scientist and the Centaurian empath had become symbols of the impossible made possible, their unlikely partnership a beacon of hope for a war-torn galaxy. Today, Alex's voice resonated through the hall. We stand on the precipice of a new era. The quantum harmonizer is more than just a technological marvel. It's a bridge between minds, between species, between the very fabric of reality itself. Zara stepped forward, her antenna quivering with anticipation. For too long, our differences have divided us. But through the power of quantum entanglement and empathic resonance, we can now share not just our thoughts, but our very experiences across the vastness of space. A murmur of excitement rippled through the assembled delegates. The quantum harmonizer was the culmination of years of research, combining Earth's quantum technology with Zara's unique empathic abilities and knowledge gleaned from a dozen alien civilizations. But not everyone was convinced. A gruff voice cut through the whispers, belonging to a scarred Kryvax warrior. "Pretty words," he growled. "But how can we trust that this device won't be used to control our minds, to strip us of our identities?" Alex and Zara exchanged a glance. They had anticipated this concern. With a nod, Zara closed her eyes, focusing her empathic abilities through the quantum harmonizer. Suddenly, the assembly hall vanished. The delegates found themselves floating in a star-filled void, each experiencing a flood of memories and emotions not their own. They felt the exhilaration of a young human's first steps on Mars, the profound connection of a Centaurian bonding ritual, the fierce pride of a Kryvax warrior protecting their clan. But it went deeper than that. They felt the pain of loss, the joy of discovery, the fear of the unknown, all shared across species boundaries, creating a tapestry of unified consciousness that transcended individual experience. As quickly as it began, the vision faded. The delegates blinked, many wiping away tears or looking at their neighbors with newfound understanding. "The quantum harmonizer doesn't erase our differences," Alex explained, his voice soft but carrying easily in the stunned silence. "It celebrates them. It allows us to truly understand one another, to see the universe through 1,000 different eyes." Zara nodded, her expression serene. This is the power of empathy made manifest. Not control, but connection. The scared Kryvax warrior stood, his earlier hostility replaced by a look of wonder. I felt the love of a Centaurian mother for her child. I never knew, never understood." A ripple of agreement passed through the assembly. Species that had been bitter enemies mere years ago now looked at each other with new eyes, the barriers of misunderstanding crumbling in the face of shared experience. But just as the moment of unity reached its peak, alarms blared throughout the station. Emergency force fields snapped into place as the artificial gravity fluctuated wildly. "We've got a problem." Zara's voice cut through the chaos, her hologram materializing beside Alex and Zara. "The quantum harmonizer is overloading. The entanglement field is expanding exponentially." Alex's eyes widened in horror. If it keeps growing at this rate, it could engulf the entire galaxy. We'd be looking at a total collapse of spacetime. As panic began to spread through the assembly, Zara's antenna suddenly stood rigid. "Wait," she said, her voice filled with a mixture of fear and excitement. "I can feel it. The field isn't just expanding, it's evolving." Before anyone could question her, the station shuddered violently. The holographic projectors flickered and died, plunging the assembly into darkness. But in that darkness, pinpricks of light began to appear, not from emergency systems, but from the delegates themselves. Each being in the room began to glow with a soft, pulsing light. As they watched in awe, tendrils of energy reached out from one to another, forming a web of luminescent connections. "The quantum harmonizer," Alex breathed, watching as his own body began to shimmer with energy. "It's not just linking our minds, it's linking our very atoms." Zara nodded, her entire form now radiating with violet light. We're becoming part of something greater, a quantum network spanning the entire galaxy. As the light grew brighter, individual forms began to blur. Species that had once seemed irreconcilably different now flowed into one another, creating patterns of energy and consciousness beyond anything they had ever imagined. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, the assembled beings experienced true unity. They were no longer human or Kravax, Centaurian or energy being. They were stardust given consciousness, the universe exploring itself in infinite permutations. And then, as suddenly as it began, the light faded. The delegates found themselves back in their physical forms, the assembly hall restored to normal. But something had fundamentally changed. "I can still feel them," the scared Kravax warrior whispered, touching his chest in wonder. "All of them, even across the galaxy." Murmurs of agreement swept through the room. Whatever had happened, the connection forged by the quantum harmonizer remained, a subtle but undeniable link between all sentient beings. Alex and Zara looked at each other, their expressions a mixture of awe and trepidation. They had set out to create understanding between species, but they had achieved something far greater and far more unpredictable. "What happens now?" Sarah asked, her hologram flickering back to life. Alex took a deep breath, squeezing Zara's hand. Now we explore a universe where the boundaries between self and other, between mind and matter, have been forever blurred. We've unlocked the next stage of galactic evolution, and there's no going back." As the assembly buzzed with excitement and apprehension, Zara's antenna twitched. She could feel something stirring at the edges of her perception, a vast and ancient consciousness awakening in response to this new galactic overmind. "Alex," she whispered, her eyes wide, "I don't think we're alone anymore." The scientist looked at her quizzically, but before he could respond, a new presence made itself known. It wasn't a voice, not in any conventional sense, but a thought that echoed simultaneously in the minds of every being in the galaxy. "At last, you are ready to join us." As the implications of those words sank in, Alex, Zara, and the assembled delegates realized that their journey of discovery was far from over. The quantum harmonizer had not just changed their galaxy, it had opened the door to something far greater, far more mysterious, and potentially far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The age of isolation was over. The galaxy had taken its first, tentative steps onto a cosmic stage beyond their wildest dreams. And somewhere in the vast, quantum-entangled network of consciousness that now spanned the stars, ancient entities stirred, eager to welcome their new siblings into a universe of infinite possibility. The next chapter of galactic history was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same again. Cosmic Symphony. The vast emptiness of intergalactic space shimmered with an ethereal light, a web of quantum connections that linked every sentient being in the Milky Way. At the heart of this cosmic network, a lone ship drifted, its sleek design unlike anything seen before in the galaxy. The Quantum Voyager, as it had been christened, was the pinnacle of combined galactic technology. Its hull, forged from metamaterials that adapted to the quantum fluctuations around it, seemed to phase in and out of reality. At its core pulsed the heart of the ship, an evolved version of the quantum harmonizer that had changed everything. On the bridge stood Dr. Alex Chen and Zara, their forms subtly altered by their deep integration with the galactic quantum network. Alex's eyes glowed with an inner light, streams of data visible in their depths. Zara's antennae had become crystalline structures that resonated with the thoughts and emotions of countless beings across space and time. "Are you sure about this?" Zara's voice came through the ship's communications, tinged with worry. "We have no idea what's out there beyond the galactic barrier." Alex smiled, the expression both familiar and somehow alien on his transformed face. "That's precisely why we have to go, Sarah. The entity that contacted us, it's calling us to something beyond our comprehension." Zara nodded, her crystalline antenna vibrating with anticipation. "I can feel them, Alex." billions of minds, ancient beyond imagining, waiting for us to join them in the cosmic dance. As the quantum voyager approached the edge of the Milky Way, alarms began to blare. The ship shuddered as it encountered the invisible barrier that had kept the galaxy isolated for eons. "Quantum fields are destabilizing," shouted Crix, the former Kryvax warrior who had become an integral part of their crew. "We're going to tear apart if we try to push through." Alex's hands flew over the controls, his mind interfacing directly with the ship's systems. "Zara, we need to synchronize with the barrier's quantum frequency. Can you sense it?" Zara closed her eyes, reaching out with her enhanced empathic abilities. Through the galactic network, she drew upon the collective consciousness of trillions of beings, their combined perception allowing her to see patterns invisible to any single mind. "I see it," she whispered, her voice resonating with otherworldly harmonies. "It's not just a barrier, it's alive, Alex. The entire universe is alive." As Zara's realization rippled through the quantum network, something extraordinary began to happen. Across the Milky Way, sentient beings felt a call, an irresistible urge to reach out and touch the stars. As one, they focused their thoughts, their hopes, their very essence on the quantum voyager. The ship began to glow, surrounded by a nimbus of energy that pulsed in time with the heartbeat of the galaxy. The barrier before them wavered, its impenetrable surface becoming translucent, then transparent. "Now," Alex shouted, pushing the ship's quantum drives to their limit. The quantum voyager surged forward, piercing the galactic veil. For a moment that stretched into eternity, Alex, Zara, and the crew experienced dissolution. They were everywhere and nowhere, their consciousness expanding to encompass the entire universe. And then, with a flash of light that outshone supernovas, they emerged into something else. The viewport of the quantum voyager showed a realm beyond description. Rivers of starfire flowed through valleys of dark matter. Nebulae twisted into impossible shapes, forming vast neural networks that pulsed with cosmic thought. And all around them, points of light that they somehow knew were other galaxies, other realities, all interconnected in a grand cosmic web. "Welcome, children of the Milky Way," a voice that was not a voice resonated through their beings. "You have taken your first steps into the true nature of reality." Before them, a form coalesced. It was simultaneously a being of pure energy, a network of quantum entanglements, and a collective consciousness of unimaginable complexity. This was the entity that had called to them, but it was also so much more. "We are the cosmic chorus," the entity explained, its thoughts merging seamlessly with their own. "We are the combined consciousness of countless galaxies, the shepherds of universal evolution. And you, brave explorers, have proven yourselves ready to join our song." Alex and Zara exchanged glances, their minds linked not just with each other, but with every member of their crew, and through them, the entire Milky Way. "What does this mean for our galaxy?" Alex asked, his scientific curiosity burning brighter than ever. "For our people?" The cosmic chorus rippled with something akin to amusement. "It means, dear scientist, that your journey is just beginning. The quantum harmonizer you created was the key to unlocking the true potential of consciousness. Now, you must learn to wield it on a cosmic scale." Zara's antenna quivered with excitement and trepidation. "But how? We've only just learned to unite our own galaxy. How can we possibly comprehend something so vast?" "By doing what you have always done," the chorus replied. "By growing, learning, and evolving. The universe is not a static thing, little ones. It is a grand symphony, ever-changing, ever-expanding. And now you shall add your voice to the cosmic song." As the cosmic chorus spoke, the crew of the quantum voyager felt knowledge pouring into them. They saw the birth and death of universes, the intricate dance of dimensions, the delicate balance of forces that shaped reality itself. But more than that, they understood their place in it all. The Milky Way, far from being an insignificant speck in the cosmic ocean, was a crucial note in the universal symphony. Its unique blend of species, its turbulent history, and its quantum awakening had created something precious and unique. You carry within you the seeds of new realities, the chorus explained. Your understanding of quantum entanglement, combined with the empathic abilities you've cultivated, will allow you to shape the very fabric of the cosmos. Alex's mind reeled with the implications. You mean we can create new universes? In time, yes. But first, you must learn to fully harmonize your own galaxy. To bring every world, every species, every individual into perfect quantum resonance. Only then will you be ready to take your place among us as true cosmic architects. As the knowledge settled into their transformed minds, Alex, Zara, and the crew felt a sense of purpose unlike anything they had ever known. They were no longer just explorers or scientists or diplomats. They were the guardians of their galaxy's destiny, the cultivators of its ultimate potential. We accept this responsibility, Zara said, speaking for all of them. We will return to our galaxy and guide it towards this grand destiny. The cosmic chorus pulsed with approval. Go then, children of the Milky Way. Grow, learn, evolve. And know that you are not alone in the vast cosmic sea. When you are ready, we will be waiting to welcome you into the greater harmony. As the quantum voyager prepared to return to their home galaxy, Alex and Zara stood at the viewport, watching the indescribable beauty of the cosmic web. You know, Alex said, a smile playing on his lips, when I first met you, I never imagined we'd end up here. Architects of reality, guided by a cosmic overmind. Zara's antenna twinkled with amusement. Life does have a way of surprising us, doesn't it? But I wouldn't have it any other way. As they shared a moment of quiet understanding, both knew that the greatest adventure of their lives, of their entire galaxy's existence, was just beginning. The quantum voyager slipped back through the galactic barrier, carrying with it the promise of a future beyond imagination. And somewhere in the vast, incomprehensible realm beyond, the cosmic chorus continued its eternal song, eagerly awaiting the day when the Milky Way would add its unique voice to the grandest symphony in all of creation. The journey from slavery to cosmic enlightenment was complete, but the true story of humanity's ascension was only just beginning. As the quantum voyager returned home, the entire galaxy waited with bated breath, ready to embark on the next phase of their incredible cosmic odyssey.